Guys, we're going live tonight, Monday evening. Hope you guys are having a great day and are doing very well this evening. We've got a lot to talk about. We're going to be talking about Oscar De La Hoya, Vergil Ortiz, DAZN, David Benavidez versus Zurdo Ramirez being announced, the Zuffa premiere, and much, much more on the latest edition of WaraWeek Boxing.
W.A.W presents Big Time Boxing USA on WaraWeek Radio.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Monday evening to all of you guys. And I tell you what, this has been very comical and frustrating at the same time. Because I've been listening to other podcasts and everyone wants to be Perry Mason or some Harvard law graduate, because apparently the contract of Vergil Ortiz with DAZN has been floated out on the internet. Boy, imagine that. How did that actually happen? And look, I'll be honest, everyone's been mowing through it, combing through the contract. Oh, well, this is, look, they have ground, and they're debating and belaboring all of this without asking the million-dollar question. Why is this actually happening? Now, once again, I understand. Let's just give one a recap, right? So, the relationship between undefeated Vergil Ortiz and his longtime promoter, Oscar De La Hoya. Apparently, and once again, we don't know if this is true. This is just based on the word of Rick Mirrigan, Vergil Ortiz's longtime manager. Says it deteriorated into a major legal battle. Lawsuit was filed on January 15th. Vergil Ortiz filed a lawsuit in Nevada to terminate his promotional contract with Oscar De La Hoya's Golden Boy Promotions. And he's claiming that there's a breach of contract and interference with prospective economic advantage. That's the verbiage from the lawsuit, right? Specifically, his team argues that Golden Boy's streaming deal with DAZN has expired as of December 31st without an exclusive alternative in place, which they believe triggers a termination right. The lawsuit alleges that Golden Boy failed to secure a major bout against Jerron Boots Ennis, and that De La Hoya's public disputes with other promoters and figures like Turki Al-Sheikh sabotaged his lucrative opportunities. Let's stop right there. Guys, who the hell does Vergil Ortiz think he is? Like, I know Oscar is saying, oh, he deserves 60-40. But does he? Like, who is Vergil Ortiz? Like, if you look at the Dickies Arena who's the venue that staged his last fight against Erickson Lubin, it only holds maybe 8 or 9,000 people. It's not a big venue. And this is a guy who made $2 million in his demolition of Erickson Lubin, who only was paid $2 million for less than 2 rounds of action. Like, his treatment from Golden Boy has been more than fair. It's been quite generous. Because at the end of the day, I'm sorry, Vergil Ortiz is not a ticket seller. He's not. Who does this guy think he is? Now, look, Oscar's a goofball. And I know this because I used to work with Don Chargan and Golden Boy back in the day. This is a guy who needs to separate his public persona of Clapback Thursdays. He needs to put a muzzle on that when it comes to business. Stop it. Stop airing out your dirty laundry, dude. Cut it out. All of your other crap is funny. It's humorous. And it's done wonders for increasing your brand. But when it comes to business, stop it. And Rick Merrigan, dude, you're a manager. There's a reason why you sought a deal with Golden Boy when Vergil Ortiz was turning pro. Because he knows the American market. And he's the only promoter right now with TV dates who actually understands and knows how to increase market value and create attractions. So what are you doing? Guys, from what I've been told, right? From what I've been told, and this goes on with the ongoing issue. One of the biggest, if not the biggest problem in boxing at this time, paying out inflated purses. Think about this. Vergil Ortiz, not a big ticket seller, given $2 million rock to just annihilate Erickson Lubin within 2 rounds. And now I've gotten word from people who work at Golden Boy that he's requesting over $7 million for the Jaron Boots Ennis fight. And Oscar's like, you know what? This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Oh, hold on. Nico, good to see you, man. Thank you for joining us. Says it might be boosting his brand with casuals, but does his Slapback Thursdays really help him get fighters to sign? No, his track record gets fighters to sign. Think about this. This is how resilient Oscar's brand is. He was left for dead by Al Heyman about 10 years ago, right? Left for dead. He fought back tooth and nail to actually become a powerhouse with Canelo Alvarez, getting him that initial deal with DAZN. And then when Canelo left him, once again, leaving him for dead, he's fought back. He is resilient, unlike Todd DeBuff in Top Rank. Guys, look, don't be shy on betting on Oscar De La Hoya and company. They're like cockroaches. They will not die. Oh, guys, look, I'll say this. once again, who the hell? Look, I love Vergil Ortiz. His dad, not so much. Rick Mirrigan, not so much. But I love Vergil Ortiz. He's a good kid. And he stays out of trouble, unlike Tank Davis, which we will address later on in the show. Nico the Boss says, if Tio and Shakur are getting $9 million, why not get... That's the problem. That's the problem. And no, you can't say Turkey is not working with Golden Boy anymore, because they're having a press conference on Thursday to announce Ryan Garcia versus Mario Barrios. Sella and Turkey are the promoters. They're the event organizers. Golden Boy and PBC are merely the promotional figureheads. They're using the Tom Brown promotional license. That's all. Sella and Turkey Al Sheikh, they're organizing this event and they're paying for the main event. So you can't tell me that they don't work with Golden Boy any longer. Look, I'll be honest, and what people don't realize is that Turkey Al Sheikh and Sella, which I think are doing a great job other than paying out inflated purses, they're feeding this animal that is an albatross over the neck of the boxing business. It's the biggest problem in boxing at this time. And you're right. That's exactly what Vergil and Rick Mirrigan are thinking. Well, look, they're paying Shakur and Tio $9 million each. Why not give Vergil $7 million? That's the problem. But you know what? Vergil can't sell tickets, neither can Boots Ennis. So you tell me why they deserve $7 million based on their accurate market value, realistic market value. It's bullshit. Guys, these guys don't deserve this shit. Now, here's the reality of this, and I'm going to finish my point. Vergil Ortiz is asking for $7.5 million to face Boots Ennis. And after receiving $2 million for that 2-round demolition of Erickson Lubin, he believes he deserves it. But once again, when you pay fighters millions for soft touches, it makes it virtually impossible to put together the best fights, because for a real challenge, they think they deserve to break the bank. But wait a minute, Vergil Ortiz is a non-ticket seller. He's not a big attraction. He's not even a big attraction in his home area of DFW, which is why he wanted to fight Errol Spence to beat his ass and maybe get that torch pass. To do what Mikey Garcia wanted to do all those years ago, but couldn't, because he's a widow guy. Guys, oh geez, this is all over the place. But look, this is the biggest problem in boxing. And so Oscar De La Hoya and company and DAZN, they offered Vergil Ortiz and Boots Ennis $3.5 million apiece to put this fight together. And Vergil turned it down, thinking, oh, that's ridiculous. And everyone around Vergil, including his trainer, is telling him, oh, you know what? This is a fight that everyone wants to see, and it should be worth the money. You should be. They shouldn't fight without getting that kind of money. Hold on, Nico the Boss. I just told you guys that. Look, think about this, guys. Look, you guys are citing this. You guys are saying this, and a bunch of podcasts are, without asking yourself the questions, why is this actually happening? Why is he trying to get out of his contract? Is he trying to use this as leverage? to make the Tehran boots at us happen and to get that money? That's what I think. But in reality, look, I'll tell you exactly what the contract, and you've already heard this on several podcasts as well, and it's of no consequence. Because Oscar's claiming that, yeah, we've been negotiating with DAZN since October. And we have a temporary order in place. No, DAZN hasn't. Look, where is Ryan fighting on February 21st? He's not fighting on Amazon. He's fighting on DAZN. So stop all the fan speak, right? Like, I've listened to other podcasts and it's all over the place. It's ridiculous. I've heard larger number podcasts talk about, oh man, Oscar's afraid of putting Vergil Ortiz in the ring with Boots Ennis, man. They're ducking him. Excuse me. And it's nonsense. It's obvious these guys have never spent time with any fighters in the gym. Because if you have, you would understand that all of these guys are fearless and truly believe that they could beat anyone's ass in their division on any given day. And they would step in the ring with Godzilla if it meant making life-changing money. Nico, I don't know where you're getting this. They have a contract through 2028. Ryan is saying this is the last fight on his contract. But what he doesn't understand is that the year that he was suspended is not a year against his contract. Because he couldn't fight and he couldn't fulfill that. That doesn't count against his contract. He was suspended for an entire year and didn't fight. So it extends his contract for another year. Think, guys. This is a cluster bleep. But no one is asking the right questions. They're combing through the contract thinking that they're, Perry Mason or something. Thinking that they're Lou DiBella, a Harvard law graduate, or Al Heyman. Without asking the very important question, why are they really doing this? And in my opinion, and once again, ask yourself, why the belabored negotiation with their deal with DAZN? Ask yourselves that, guys. Because that's where the answer lies. Think about this. The dead zone, in which Bob Arum characterizes DAZN as the dead zone. That's a place where careers go to die. Is he right? Or is he wrong? Because when you think about it, how long has DAZN been an entity and been a benefactor of boxing? What is it, since 2018? That's 7 years, guys. How many attractions have they cultivated and nurtured? None. Zero. Ryan Garcia has nurtured his brand on his own on social media. He's become a big star outside of himself. Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, that was on Sky Sports. That was on PBC, respectively. Who has DAZN actually cultivated? None. Nobody. And how can they in the American market? Look, I know they're doing great in other continents and other countries. Like in the UK, they're doing great. In Japan, they're doing great. In Australia, they're doing great. But they have other sports to rely on. They have purchased the licensing fees of Premier League. And so you get the benefit of all of those guys who are interested in other sports in the American market. You don't have that luxury. And for good reason. Do you know how expensive? Do you know how expensive it is for, let's put it this way, the NFL? Amazon, they spent $1 billion to just get one game per week throughout the entire NFL season. DAZN is not going to compete with that. And so it's almost like DAZN has done the sport a great disservice. Think about this, guys. So you're putting all promoters and most of the fights that happen throughout the year on one app, DAZN. And guess what? It only has about 600,000 subscribers. So what does that show you for the rest of ESPN, DAZN? And we warned you guys about this. Hey, don't hope for the demise of Showtime. Because when they relinquish their investment in boxing, everyone's going to start analyzing theirs. And so now you have all of the promoters and all the major fights happening on one platform, and guess what? It only results in about 600,000 subscribers in the U.S. market. So what does that mean for other investors, other apps, other networks with real TV dates, with a real outreach, like Apple, Paramount Plus, HBO, Showtime? What does that mean? That means they're going to look at that and go, well, why the hell would we want to pay millions for something that is of no consequence? That's the problem. Vergil Ortiz understands, hey, I'm never going to be able to increase my level of attraction if I stay on DAZN. Golden Boy understands, hey, you know what? DAZN had better make it worth my while, because I'm sorry, this is a platform that's of no consequence. Look at the philosophical question. If a tree falls in the woods and no one's there to hear it, did it actually happen? That's DAZN, guys. No one watches DAZN. No one subscribes to DAZN. And Vergil Ortiz needs to understand. Well, everyone wants to see me versus Boots Ennis. He's talking about everyone within the diehard community bubble, which is very small indeed. He's not taking into consideration that no one outside of that small relative bubble even knows who the hell he is. Who knows who he is outside of who knows who he is, he and Boots Ennis, in the mainstream and casual or sports community? No one knows who he is. So he has a big decision to make. Oh, shit. Well, look, I know that I am one of the most promising fighters, young fighters in boxing. And I know my ceiling is high in this business. But is it going to get any bigger affiliated with DAZN? Has anyone ever increased their market value on DAZN? No. How can you with only an outreach of 600,000 in the American market? Zuffa, Dana White, He's signed with Paramount Plus, and everyone is scoffing and ridiculing his first fight card, which happens on the 23rd. Guess what? He's on a platform with an outreach of over 80 million subscribers worldwide. Hate to say it, and I know people hate to see it, but that's going to be much bigger than the DAZN. Look, I'll give you an example. My dear friend, Thomas Driver, love you, brother. He is one of the best ring announcers in the business. And he is the voice of Riyadh season and all of these events. He's going to be hosting. Oh, hold on. That's not true, Jesus. I know because I was dealing with Steven Espinosa at Showtime at the time. That did about 650,000 purchases in the American market. Which is amazing for today's standards. But Vergil Ortiz, he's nowhere near that. Guys, Vergil Ortiz and Boots Ennis, they're nobodies. No one outside of the boxing diehard community knows who the hell these guys are. You could go to Dallas-Fort Worth, where Vergil resides, and he's not even a big ticket seller there. Like, ask yourselves, guys, why didn't he put his fight with Erickson Lumen in the American Airlines Center, the home of the Mavericks? Because he couldn't fill it. Look, Nico, for the first time today, I am in full agreement, and I can't. It pains me to say that because, guys, it's all about TV dates. As a promoter, your currency is TV dates. Without them, you have nothing. And with only a 600,000 subscriber outreach, is that really a TV date? Is that really a TV date? No! Look at Netflix. Jake Paul is the man in the American market. You may not like him, but it's of no consequence. He puts on events that people watch, and it's a terrible product. In my opinion, Golden Boy needs to leave DAZN. So does Vergil Ortiz, so does everybody else. But as long as Turkey Al Sheikh is purchasing these ridiculous inflated purse licensing fees, they're going to be on DAZN. Because what alternative, what option do these fighters have? Think about this, guys. Netflix has an outreach of over 300 million worldwide. Paramount Plus has an outreach of over 80 million worldwide. DAZN has an outreach of only 600,000 in the American market. Top Rank is even worse. They don't have a TV deal. And it's because of the leadership and nepotism of Bob Arum's son-in-law, Todd DeBuff, who doesn't know shit from Shinola about boxing. In my opinion, yes, they're officially dead. Oscar Valdez is the latest defector of Top Rank. But look, he's damaged goods. He's old news. Where's he going to go? Is he going to go to DAZN? Is he going to sign with Zuffa? Guys, why do you think Jayo Pataya just signed with Zuffa? Think, guys. That's what this is all about. Like, ask yourselves, guys, why is Golden Boy's negotiation with DAZN, they started in October and still haven't come to an agreement? Why is that? Because Oscar's no dummy. Eric Gomez is no dummy. And he's like, look, if we have Ryan Garcia, if we have Vergil Ortiz, if we have Zurdo Ramirez, and all of these other entertaining fighters, and put on consistent entertaining cards. Guys, you just saw the Alexis Rocha card. That was a lot of fun. Very entertaining. Even with a last-minute substitution. What are we getting out of this? We're paying our fighters, yes, and we get 20%. What are we getting out of this? Is it increasing the market value of any of our fighters? No, it's not. It's like a circle jerk. It's like, oh, we're getting off on our own shit, but you're not increasing the brand. You're not helping the health of the sport. Excuse me. You're hindering it. You're paying out inflated purses, skewing the market. Like when you've got a nobody like Vergil Ortiz and Boots Ennis, no offense, respectively, because they're great fighters, both of them. But they can't sell tickets. They can't draw ratings. And they're requesting a purse that is going to guarantee that the event is going to be on pay-per-view. What do you think the pay-per-view numbers are going to be for that event? Guys, it'll be lucky to breach the 60,000 mark. And here's the problem, the other biggest problem in boxing business today in the American market. The overwhelming majority of boxing diehard fans are stealing the product. Stealing it. That's why they only have 600,000 subscribers on DAZN. And that's why you see all these circus events. Because the only people who are purchasing events are mainstream and casual audience members, mainstream and casual fans. And so if you're a promoter or a network that's interested in making money, you're going to try to appeal to those guys. So where does that leave boxing diehard fans? The ones who are banging the drum for Vergil Ortiz versus Boots. No one cares. You guys aren't financially supporting the product? Well, then who gives a shit what you think? That's the dilemma. And Jesus M., good to see you, my friend. Thank you for being here. Says, how much did Vergil make versus Lubin? $2 million. $2 million rock for less than 2 rounds of action. Nico, I'm right there with you, brother. I subscribe, but I support all of the businesses who support boxing. Guys, if you can't afford the pay-per-views, or if you don't want to pay the pay-per-view price, go to Dave & Buster's. Support the businesses that do show the product and pay for the product. That's the way, Nico. Support Dave & Buster's. They're one of the last bastions of hope we have in the American market. Guys, this is, once again, all of these guys are combing through the contract thinking that it's of any consequence, without pondering the question, why is this really happening? because they understand the dead zone is a dead end. We've had 7 years to see results. Nothing in the American market. It's time to move on, guys. Move on. And this year is going to be, like, I know you've heard writers and boxing pundits and guys in the business talk about the big, quote unquote, reset that's happening within the business. This is the year for it. No one knows where boxing is going to be in 2 years in the American market. It's that bad, guys. And who told you first that this was going to happen 5 years ago? We did. I did. I told you guys this was going to be the result. And everyone thought I was just being a hater. Nope. We're in this business. Everyone on this channel is in this business. And we tell you these things because we know this to be true. Now, if you want to continue to listen to, or if you want to listen to guys like the Boxing Boys who claim, or I don't know, any other channel like Showbiz the Adult, and claim that Oscar De La Hoya is afraid to put Vergil Ortiz in the ring with Boots Ennis, he's ducking him. That is the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life. These guys are fearless. But the problem is they understand that they don't have a chance of increasing their market value on DAZN with that limited outreach. Can you even count DAZN as a real TV date because of it? No, you can't. That's the real reason why this is happening, guys. And it doesn't help with Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson getting that fat Saudi purse or Turkey Al-Sheikh purse of $9 million apiece. That's not helping. That's skewing the marketplace. And Rick Merrigan and Vergil Ortiz and his asshole of a father, they're looking at this and going, well, wait a minute. They're getting $9 million and they can't sell tickets either. Why can't we get at least 7.5? And they would have a point. But it's not realistic. Because who's going to purchase this pay-per-view? The diehard fans? Does it appeal to the mainstream? Is Teofimo Lopez a name in the mainstream? No. Is Shakur Stevenson a name in the mainstream? No. Guys, they'll be lucky to breach the 100,000 purchase mark because everyone is going to steal it. Michael, good of you to join us, man. Thank you for being here. Yes, boxing is effed. But in the American market. In the American market. Everywhere else, it's doing fine, and fighters compete all the time for fair market value. Because over there, in the UK, in Germany, in Japan, in Australia, it's still a mainstream pastime. Boxing has become and look at the DAZN numbers in the American market. It's become a fringe pastime. That's why it's screwed. And if you stay on DAZN, well, then that's where careers go to die. Tycho TV, good to see you, brother. Thank you for being here, man. They're going to find out real quick that them purses ain't sustainable. Get them while they're hot. That's exactly what Rick and Vergil are thinking. Saying, look, if we're not going to get these purses, then we're going to have to jump ship and go to a larger, more sustainable platform. And Nico says, and thank you for hanging with me, brother. Says, oh, Uncle Dana's going to save boxing in America. We'll see. But it's not looking good for that first card, brother. I mean, look, I'll be honest. I'm in this business. And I actually enjoy this card, but it's very underwhelming in terms of names. But guys, I advise you and I strongly encourage you to suspend your judgment and wait till the fights play out, because I know a lot of guys on this card. And it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Especially focus on this, guys. Floyd Diaz versus Guillermo Gutierrez at bantamweight, 118. That's a great fight. Jesus M says, Joe, they know Shakur won't KO Tio. They figure it'll go 12 rounds, making it 1 million. Oh, gosh. Look, talk about buyer's remorse. Turkey Al Sheikh is going to have buyer's remorse big time on this. And he's going to question every investment after this. This is terrible. Jesus, Rick Glazier, I'm assuming that you're talking about. Yeah, please correct me if I'm wrong. But Rick Glazier is working with Golden Boy and a lot of fighters who are featured on DAZN. What else is he going to say? I don't have a dog in the hunt. I speak the truth, brother. Hey, guys, we're going to take a little break and have intermission real quick.
Are you anxious about defending your faith? Let's explore John 14-6 together and find peace. Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. It's a powerful statement, but how do we explain it to non-believers? First, remember to listen with love. Arguments don't change hearts, compassion does. Second, share your personal journey. How has your faith changed your life? Real stories resonate more than abstract ideas. Finally, pray for them. Trust that God's Spirit is working even if you can't see it. Stay rooted in faith and let your light shine. Remember, you're not alone in this journey.
God bless all of you guys. And if you haven't already subscribed to my other channel, God's Perfect Love, please do so. And join me in my spiritual journey with the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And the Holy Trinity and Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. God bless all of you guys. Let's get back to boxing, guys. Superior Green. Okay, you don't know Rick, because Rick is far from being a dumb guy. Rick is a great guy, and he's one of the most knowledgeable guys in this business. Okay, what is he supposed to say? He doesn't dare, unlike Vergil Ortiz, he doesn't dare bite the hand that feeds him at this time. And he's right. Oscar De La Hoya is doing the right thing for Vergil Ortiz. Think about this and ask yourself this, guys. What promoter could do a better job at this time with the amazing talent, but not big attraction of Vergil Ortiz? Could Top Rank do it at this time without any TV dates? No. Guys, ask yourselves, how do we see Xander Zayas versus Abbas Barao? How do you see that fight? Do you have any idea? Without any TV dates, do you have any idea how we're going to see that unification? Sorry, guys, my own system kicked me off. Oh, geez. But guys, look, the bottom line is Vergil Ortiz is asking for an absurd amount of money in which he cannot support with ratings or ticket sales. And Oscar De La Hoya is doing his best. And he and DAZN offered him $3.5 million. And they turned it down. And if they think they can get a better offer somewhere else, hey, if I were De La Hoya, I'd say, you know what? Go get it. Go get it. Go get it, brother. If you think the grass is greener on the other side, go get it. You think Zuffa's going to pay him more than that? You think Jake Paul's going to pay him more than that? You think Netflix is even going to be interested in that? Hell no, guys. Hell no. And that's what fans need to start understanding. Why is this actually happening? Because DAZN is not what it's all cut out to be. In fact, the last several events that I've worked, I've actually asked mainstream and casual fans at these events who are there supporting their favorite fighters, hey, do you guys subscribe to DAZN? They're like, what? What's DAZN? No one knows what the hell it is. So how are you expected to nurture and cultivate and increase the market value of any of these young fighters? And why they're paying outrageous amounts of, like, think about this, guys. Like, do you remember everyone used to make a big deal about the Floyd Mayweather sweepstakes way back yonder? Right? Do you remember that? Andre Berto, Robert the Ghost Guerrero, Marcos Maidana, Liam Smith. Or not Liam Smith, but all the guys who fought on the B side of Floyd Mayweather's card, the biggest star of boxing, they made on average $3 million. And that was a career high payday at the time. Now, non-ticket sellers are expecting more than that for a real challenge. This is what happens when you pay out inflated purses, paying fighters millions for soft touches. And I told you guys this was going to happen. It's the worst trend that's ever happened to boxing in my lifetime. Paying out inflated purses. It skews the market. It disenchants all of these hungry young American fighters. They're living in fantasy land now without any grasp of reality. Hold on, guys. I need to blow my proboscis. Thank you, guys. I appreciate that. I'm back. But that's the problem, guys. That's the problem. And that's the real reason why they're doing this. Everyone knows that DAZN is the dead end for boxing. It's where careers go to die. This is why Canelo left DAZN and wanted to start working with PBC. He only went back to DAZN when Turki Al-Sheikh made him an offer he couldn't refuse. Canelo's return in September. What are we to make of this? And who cares? His career is done. Who cares? Whatever Canelo is going to accomplish in the business, it's already happened. And if anyone signs with Canelo Alvarez without any experience putting on shows, yeah, then they're a damn fool. The only reason why Golden Boy flourished the way he did the way it did and expanded into a powerhouse of a promotional entity is because of two guys, Don Chargan and Richard Schaefer. Otherwise, Golden Boy, Eric Gomez didn't know shit about the business of boxing without those guys. Canelo Alvarez, well, you think they're going to learn the business and know it and become an influential promoter by hiring Roberto Diaz, who is working with Canelo? No. Best of luck to you, Canelo. You don't have Don Chargan. You don't have Richard Schaefer. Best of luck. Guys, let's move on. We're almost an hour in, and we've only been talking about Vergil and Oscar. And I'll be honest. Oh, hold on. Oh, we've already addressed that. But guys, let's on Thursday, they're going to have a press conference announcing Ryan Garcia versus Mario Barrios. And this is once again, I thought it was initially PBC and Golden Boy. They're merely puppet promoters. The real event organizers and the real benefactor is Sella and Turkey Al Sheikh. I'm glad you asked that question, Nico. Why did Roberto Diaz and Golden Boy have a falling out? Because Roberto Diaz dropped the ball when trying to cultivate, when given the responsibility of cultivating and nurturing the skill set of Ryan Garcia. He was the one given this responsibility. And rather than using the 4, 6, and 8 round levels to give him the right opponents and season him, he was just interested, a lot like Edgar Berlanga, to get the quick knockout, increase his brand that way. But guess what? He's at the championship level now, and he can't win. Guys, Ryan Garcia has never won a major world title. And they're like, what the fuck are we going to do with him now? Pardon my French. What are we going to do with him now? You were supposed to cultivate and nurture his skill set over the 4, 6, and 8 round levels. That's what they're for. And you didn't do it. So you know what? We're going to trim the fat. We're going to cut your big purse. Big, yeah. And we're going to separate ourselves from you, brother. We don't need you. If you can't do the job, we don't need you. That's the real reason. That's what really happened. And they weren't wrong, Golden Boy, in doing that. Tycho TV says they're really trying to get Ryan a belt desperately. Look, if you couldn't get it facing Rolly Romero, you're not going to get it facing Mario Barrios. I'm sorry. You're not going to. Look, Mario Barrios will never be mistaken for an elite fighter of any division. But he still is more fundamentally sound than Ryan Garcia, which is a one-trick pony. Yes, he's gifted athletically. He's got the quick reflexes. He's got the heavy hands. He's got the one-hitter quitter with that left hook. But you failed Roberto Diaz in cultivating all of his other assets and skills. So what are you supposed to do now that he's grown accustomed to making these outrageous purses? What are you going to do now? His learning curve is officially over. After screwing the pooch and laying an egg against Rolly Romero, you really think he's going to beat Mario Barrios? A guy who has the range, the height, the reach to stay out of harm's way for 12 rounds. Guys, Ryan Garcia doesn't know how to be the effective aggressor, just like Teofimo Lopez. And let's be honest, Teofimo Lopez, yeah, he's the lamb to the slaughter. That guy has no chance to beat Shakur Stevenson and was chosen for a reason. He's got no chance to beat him. Because look, and they, I forgot which platform it was, but I think it was Ring. They recently interviewed Jermaine Ortiz. And Jermaine Ortiz was very candid and said, I really hope Teofimo Lopez has learned how to cut off the ring better. Because unless he has no chance to win against Shakur Stevenson. Who else has been telling you that, guys, for the last several months that this fight was talked about? Us. This matchup is going to resemble watching paint dry. It's going to be terribly uneventful. And it's going to leave a really bad taste in the mouth of Turki Al-Sheikh, who's paying for the licensing fee of this. This is bad, guys. I'm interested in the undercard, but this main event, I might duck out and just say, I already know Shakur's going to win this. Jose Barrera, good to see you, man. God bless you, brother. No, Canelo will never fight at 75 ever again. And he will never fight a guy like Arthur Beterbiev. Whatever Canelo was going to do in this business, it's already happened. He is now probably focusing his attention on being, oh gosh, you heard the rumor today. Yeah, on a site who doesn't, one, they're not in this business, and two, they don't know this business. Joe, is this Shakur versus Teo going to be a Times Square performance? I know what you mean. And yes, even though it's going to be at the big house, the big room at Madison Square Garden, it's going to resemble all of those, right? It's going to resemble all of those terrible, boring, uneventful matchups. You're looking at two counterpunchers by trade, staring at each other, waiting for their opponent to make the first move. Jose Barrera says, damn, that's sad. I wanted to see that matchup. Well, I can guarantee you Canelo didn't. Beating someone that's considered Godzilla would definitely help his image. Look, Canelo doesn't need help on his image. Shakur does. Teofimo does. Boots Ennis does. And definitely Vergil Ortiz does. Jose Barrera says, people doing crazy things like Duran versus Davey Moore or Barkley, Iran Barkley, is what makes people forget those terrible losses. Dude, yes. Yes. And unfortunately, those dogs, those great men that these young fighters are merely standing on the shoulders of, they're a far cry from those badasses of the days of old. Like, think about this, Jose. That's how we became fans. Watching badasses like that. You think Devin Haney holding 60 times, more than 60 times per fight is going to inspire fans? It's a terrible product. And these guys are demanding to break the vault for that terrible, uninspired performance. That's what's wrong with this era of boxing. Guys, if you haven't already, go back and listen to my show with Nate Campbell, former unified lightweight champion, right? The guy who busted up and beat Juan Diaz, the baby bull. He was like, and guys, you have to go back and listen to it. It's a great show. But he was like, wait a minute, we are putting on wars for everybody. And we didn't get a fraction of what these pampered, entitled bitches are requesting today. And he's a trainer in Florida. He handles fighters. But even he understands. Look at all the names in my era that are in the Hall of Fame in the lightweight division when I was competing. And about 15 of them are in the Hall of Fame. It's ridiculous. That's the biggest problem, Tycho, and you know this. It's a problem, guys. And how do we solve this problem? We need to move the product. Several things need to be done. We need to move the product to a platform that people will see. And DAZN, no one's watching. And two, just as important, we need to cut out inflated purses. Fighters need to get used to competing for market value once again. If you can't sell tickets, don't expect to break the bank. And three. Oh, wait a minute. Nico says, Nate wants you to pay him for his services. Galaxy Word needs... Look, I'm gifted. And that's what I do with promoters. I get sponsorship to cover costs. I'm really good at that. And that's what I do in this business, my friend. So, Nate, not a problem. I can easily get sponsorship to cover his cost. That's what I do. If you guys wanted to know what I do in this business outside of commentary and ring announcing, that's exactly what I do. I'm a jack of all trades. I've even DJ'd at certain events while being the ring announcer. I've actually done that as well. Jose Barrera says Crawford going up 2 weight classes with Canelo, and Canelo going up 2 weight classes for Kovalev were the only times boxers actually risked in this whole era. That's not true. Look at Usyk moving up to heavyweight and putting on that muscle to fight the Goliath. Nico says, do you do quinces? That's hilarious, brother. Look. Hey, man, if the money's right, I'll do anyone's party. Because I am a really good DJ, guys. And if you were in the Bexar County area, the San Antonio metropolitan area, I would say, hey, come out and watch me DJ every Friday and Saturday night, hosting karaoke as well. Because I can sing. I'm a professional musician. Because I can sing. Yeah, I host karaoke as well. And I'm doing it tomorrow night at Brandy's Ice House, if you're in the San Antonio area. But yes, other than those guys, Usyk. Yeah, he's special. But go listen to my episode with Nate Campbell. He has an earful about Alexander Usyk to tell you guys. And it's funny. But guys, look, let's move on. Let's move on to Cinco de Mayo. It's been announced Benavidez versus Zurdo Ramirez. And once again, conventional wisdom would tell you that it's going to be PBC and Golden Boy staging this event. But it's not. It's Sella and Turkey El Sheikh. Jose Barrera says, oh gosh, Zurdo's got no chance. Well, you can tell him that. He's going to be on our show next week. Tune in. His publicist, Bob Trigger, is a dear friend of mine. And we're going to be featuring Zurdo Ramirez next week. I think it's Thursday is the day. Nico the Boss says, does Usyk beat Holyfield at cruiserweight in their primes? I'll be honest. I don't even think Usyk beats David Haye in their primes at cruiserweight. Look, Usyk, Crawford, and the like, right? All-time greats, but they are thriving off of a weak era, respectively. Think about this, Nico. Stick Usyk in the 90s. How does he fare at heavyweight? I'll wait. While you're thinking of your retort, let's go to Jose. And thank you for hanging with me, Jose. It's good to see you, brother. He says, like a cheetah versus a turtle. Hold on. Jose, I'm going to challenge you then. Look at the four kings. Sugar Ray Leonard. How does Crawford fare at 47 against Sugar Ray Leonard? In his prime. In his prime. How does he fare? Against Roberto Duran in his prime. How does he fare? Against Marvin Hagler in his prime at 160. How does he fare? Against the hitman, Tommy Hearns. How does he fare with that long jab and that mammoth right hand? How does he fare? Crawford wouldn't do shit. And I'll say this, at 135. How does he fare in the Nate Campbell era against Pacquiao? Against Juan Manuel Marquez? Against Joel Casamayor? Against Diego Corrales? Against Floyd Mayweather? Against Acelina Freitas? How does he fare against all those badasses at 35? How does he fare against 40? Against Ricky Hatton and Cotto? Oh, shit. Nico the Boss. That's what I'm talking about. It depends. Crawford on PEDs are clean. Those therapeutic exceptions change the game. Yeah, but for the worse. It's hindered the product. That's why, Nico, you see guys almost afraid to get hit. Because it's very convoluted. These guys are afraid to take risks nowadays because they understand. Look at the quick stoppages on Subriel Matias as well as Agit Kabayel. They're afraid to take risks because they understand the moment I get hurt, there's a very good chance that the referee is going to stop the bout. And also, these guys, they spend more time with their conditioning coaches than they do in hard sparring in the gym. And Emmanuel Stewart warned me about this, and I've told you guys this. I told you guys this years ago. That Emmanuel Stewart said, look, these guys, there's only one thing that's going to be able to mentally prepare you for the rigors of battle, the war that takes place in the ring, and that's hard sparring. If you think jumping on boxes and shaking ropes is going to prepare you for that, think again. You're in for a rude awakening then when you step in the ring. Look at Ryan Garcia's reaction. Hanging out with his conditioning coach instead of spending time putting in those rounds in the ring, sparring like James Toney. How did he react when he got floored by Rolly Romero? He clammed up and turned into a turtle. Didn't want to come out of his shell. Look, I'll say this, as much respect as I can muster for Ryan Garcia. He is a big, fat pussy. Yes, I said it. Jose Barrera says, maybe he can beat Duran. No, he can't. Roberto Duran would whoop his ass on the inside. It wouldn't even be close. Easy. UD or late round stoppage. Yeah, look. Crawford can hang in every era, but he's not going to win. He is flourishing on a weak era. You tell me in other eras if he can move up to 168 and compete with Joe Calzaghe, Andre Ward, even Mikkel Kessler, Carl the Cobra Frotch. He'd get his ass whooped. Nico, we all know. Look. I'll say this. This is the worst kept secret in boxing. Don't do this. Because look, truth be known. Truth be known. Everyone is doing that shit. If you want to compete on the elite level, everyone is doing that shit. That's the last thing that Bill Haney wants you to know. Even his son. Everyone is doing that shit if they're competing on the elite level. It's almost a joke, drug testing. And if you fail those drug tests, then you're a damn fool. And not with the right people. All of the Bud Crawford fans and Ryan Garcia fans have now left the building. Hawker, we love you, brother. Good to see you, my friend. And Jose says, oh no, those 68 are too big and too skilled for Crawford. Really? He just competed and relinquished his titles at 68. Why didn't he keep them? Look, everyone is. And with everyone doing it, is it really cheating? Ask yourself that. Did it merely level the playing field, or is everyone cheating? Hey, may the best juice win, brother. That's my motto. Guys, once again, it's like not paying your taxes. It's only illegal if you get caught. Oh, Chingao. Mbili and Lester are definitely cheating too. Dude, I just told you, everyone is doing it. Everyone. Those MFers are fighting like 26 pounders. Yeah. Look, when you fight like Lester Martinez and Christian Mbili, in the immortal words of Eddie Futch, you're going to have a short but glorious career. And Hawker says the obvious. Beating the test is part of the business, apparently. Yep. Part of the business. Think about this, guys. If you cut out all conditioning experts from working with our favorite fighters, these gallant warriors, if you cut them out, that would eliminate all of the PEDs in boxing. Jose, if you're asking the question, you already know the answer. I'll give it 2 more years. Not 3 or 4. I'll give it 2 more years. How do you beat the test? Well, this is why you don't announce. Like, you remember back in the day, in the good old days, they used to announce fights 4 months before they happened so they could give it time to be promoted correctly. Right? Why do you think they're announced like a month out? Because you cycle during the off season. You cycle before camp starts. And when camp starts, you have it all out of your system but you're still benefiting from it. Barry 69, bro, boxing is dead today. In America, sure. Everywhere else, it's flourishing. Why is that? Ask yourself that, brother. Dude, they're worthless and the biggest cancers to boxing. And rest in peace, Victor. Who's running Snack now? I don't care. Who cares? The T.O. versus Shakur is free on the internet, bro. And look, you're the reason why boxing is at its worst state ever in the American market. Because assholes like you run your mouth like you know what you're talking about. You criticize everyone, but you don't financially support the product. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do for you, Barry. I'm going to ban you from this show. Kiss my ass, and thanks for playing. How's that? Say goodbye, say goodnight, and say goodbye to Barry 69, guys. He's an asshole that condones stealing the product. We do not put up with that on this platform. We do not. We condone and encourage paying, financially supporting for your favorite product. If you love boxing, how can you justify stealing it? That's all I'm going to say. Some rando, good to see you, man. The takeover. We're still waiting for the takeover to happen. When did the Loma Tio fight happen? In 2020? Still waiting for that takeover, brother. The only thing he's taking over is maybe the insane asylum. That's about it. I'm betting 100 on Tio just in case. No, dude, don't. Save your money. Go buy a steak at Ruth's Chris instead. That's going to be, you're at least going to get something out of it. Oh, stop, dude. Stop. Slick boxer gordo? Dude. Do you meant Zurdo? I don't know who Gordo is. Thank you for visiting us, Slick Rando. It's good, or some rando. It's good to see you, man. Yep. Tycho has the beats. Those assholes, right? Those assholes stating, oh, man, the internet is undefeated. Oh, man, you can get it for free. You know what? Kiss my ass. You're the reason why boxing is dead in the American market. And you're the reason why DAZN's prices have increased by like 500%. Yeah, Jose. Dude, get yourself a nice, big, fat, juicy ribeye at Ruth's Chris for 100 rock. Enjoy yourself, brother. You only live once. Meaning of reason. Thank you for joining us, brother. Says piracy has been affecting other sports also, but it seemed to hit sports like boxing the hardest. Why do you think? Why do you think? Because all of the biggest events are on pay-per-view. That's why. All of the biggest events are on pay-per-view. Don't be like the ass clown that I just banned. If you love boxing, financially support your favorite pastime because you are paying the purses for your favorite fighters. That's reason enough. Tycho TV says Gordo is an alter ego for Tio, allegedly a slick, high-level boxer. Oh, man, he needs to quit living in fantasy land. Look, I love me some Teofimo Lopez. He's a good kid. And I met him and I've talked to him several times, and he's always been, he and his dad both have always been really cool with me. But I will say this. Brother, you need to switch trainers. And I love your dad. He's a good guy. He's funny. He makes me laugh. But you need to switch trainers. And you need to get with a guy like Robert Garcia, who understands how to cut off the ring and close the distance. Cut off the ring and close the distance, dude, because until you add that new wrinkle to your fight game, everyone's going to exploit it, including Shakur Stevenson on January 31st. You got no chance, dude. Yes, Hawker. Yeah. Oh, it's T. Sanders. Good to see you, my friend. God bless you, brother. Why did Ada Reynoso drop Tio? It's the other way around, brother. Tio dropped him because he understood, hey, you're only trying to teach me what I already know. Unless you can show me how to cut off the ring and close the distance. Look, maybe I should become a trainer these days because I know from working with great trainers who actually knew how to teach the fight game. Here's the key, guys, and it's not rocket science. You have to cut off the ring before trying to close the distance. Remember this, guys, and notice while you're watching Tio follow around someone who's going to be beating him to the punch on January 31st. If you cut off the ring before closing the distance, then you can be effective. But Tio doesn't know that. And why doesn't he know that? Because the guys he's been with don't know how to teach that or add that new wrinkle to his repertoire. That's going to be his undoing on January 31st. Mark my words. Tycho says he's going to die on that rock. He doesn't seem open to leaving his dad. Well, yeah. Sadly, that's the truth, Tycho. Guys, let's go back to Benavidez versus Zurdo. Because honestly, this is a great move by everyone involved. Not only staging this event on Cinco de Mayo, promoting it as the heir apparent to Canelo's reign in the American market, right? And on Cinco de Mayo weekend, the winner of this is going to reap benefits for years and years to come. Who's that going to be? Guys, the speed of David Benavidez is going to be way too much for Zurdo Ramirez. And once again, I hate to say that because I like Zurdo. He's funny. And he's awesome for the business of boxing. He's a lot of fun to root for, and he's very hard to dislike. And we're featuring him next week on the show. But, guys, I'm here to tell you the truth. It's absurd how much faster Benavidez is. He's going to bust him up with speed. And as durable as Zurdo has proven to be, he's not going to be able to take this smoke, and he's going to be stopped late. Mark my words, guys. Mark my words. Tragic, but true. But hey, this is boxing. That's life in the big city, guys. I'm rooting for Lopez. Aren't we all? We all like the underdog. Guys, ask yourselves, with Shakur moving up to this weight, why do most handicappers have him as a 4-1 betting favorite? That's sizable. 4-1, and you're moving up into a bigger man's division? The ring champ? Why do you think that is? Benavidez is almost faster than little old Devin Haney. What do you mean almost? He is the speed that kills, and unless someone proves me otherwise, he's going to beat everyone at 178 in cruiser, including Jayo Pataya. David Benavidez is the truth, guys. And the sooner you embrace that, the better off the market will be in the America or in the USA. Guys, we need guys like David Benavidez to show fans, mainstream and casual sports fans, a much better product than we've been getting. Think about this, guys. What does David Benavidez do that fans don't like? Nothing. He brings the action. He talks shit and is funny about it. Hawker Mustang says the game is rigged. Stop it, brother. That's hilarious. And Nico the Boss says, seems like De La Hoya is cashing out Zurdo Ramirez. No, he's not cashing him out, but what else the hell are you going to do with him? What are you going to do with him? Look, there are only two reasons why you get into this business. One, to make money. Two, to make more money. And so if you're not making money, what are you going to do with these guys? This is the biggest and only big assignment Zurdo is ever going to get in his career. Unless maybe he fights Jake Paul. And that's it. Do you think Dana will bait Benavidez with Opataya? Boy, I hope so. But I think you're right when you say I doubt it. But guys, we're almost 90 minutes in. That's my time. It's about 11:30 in Central. And that's all I was allowing myself to be at. Michael K says, Top Rank can't find a network. I doubt Golden Boy will be able to. Look. Here's the obvious difference. Golden Boy right now, they have Ryan Garcia. It's a lot more than what Top Rank has. Nico says, unify with Jai Opataya. That's what Jai Opataya wants. And look, if you pay him $1.5 million per fight, which is Dana White, that's what I've heard he's paying. You're going to have to. Because Jai Opataya might be someone in Australia, but he's an absolute nobody in the American market. What else are you going to do with him? You're going to have to honor the sanctioned organizations and fight the winner of Benavidez versus Zurdo Ramirez. That's it. That's it, guys. With that said, I'm going to leave you on that note. Guys, I want to thank all of you for hanging with me. Thank you, guys. It's been a lot of fun hanging out with you guys for 90 minutes. But guys, please go check out my latest live broadcast this past Thursday night with my brother James Bell from the Boxing Source and Nate Campbell. Check out that show. A lot of truth was revealed. Yeah. And guys, I'm going to leave you with my son's band. Please go like and subscribe to Roshi, Roshii. That's my son's band. And he makes the song here, which I think is outstanding, on our closing segment, right? Guys, please like and subscribe. Thank you for sharing this moment with me and this night with me. God bless all of you. We're going to be going live tomorrow night with Ronnie Shields and my brother James Bell. Please check it out. God bless all of you and have a great evening, everybody.
Avashan Holdings proudly presents WaraWeek Radio Chats with ring announcer Joseph Herron